Hey guys, it's Matt. I want to offer a new possible explanation, or I was going to say solution, but no, it's just an explanation as to why people around us won't wake up, why they can't see anything. And in the past, we have all sorts of first and second grade explanations we've come up with. The first grade explanation I came up with when I started writing the book, or it was as far as I could see regarding why these people just can't see what to us is so obvious, was this thing about, oh, they're just so dying to protect their worldview. Well, yeah, I guess that was right, but why? Why are they willing to, you know, basically run and just jump out the window to get away from you when you present something to protect their worldview? And without going on and on, I might as well just present the Occam's razor like possibility, although Occam's razor, as it's presented in the mainstream, is basically a deception, as everything else here is. But the reason potentially is that it's simply the rules of this game. All right? Start with the basics. We are here for a reason, and very smart people say we absolutely chose to be here. All right? Now, all the details of that I don't know. There's a lot of different theories that have been presented to me, but that's not the purpose of this video. As a aspect of something that has always been and always will be, you chose to be here. Right? Now, why does anybody choose to be here? Why would your spirit or the spiritual aspect of you, which is you, choose to be here? Well, to get something out of it. We've all been through this, a learning experience of some kind, of course. I mean, why else? This is obvious. There's almost no other explanation. Maybe somebody crying out at their computer right now said, "We were punished. This is like some sort of timeout, Matt. We were punished. We were bad spirits." Maybe it is punishment to have to turn on and see. I can't see what I can't say what I'm about to say. It could be Primate Beach. It could be Primate Beach if I say what I wanted to say there. So I better be careful. But is it a punishment? No, probably not. We're here to get our spiritual asses kicked and to learn something. So it's just the rules of the game. You came to learn something, and who knows how long that takes. It's very likely. Maybe we don't do this exact same thing here in this place called Earth or whatever. I don't believe there's planets flying around out there that Matt Damon can go land on, but it's a long journey. If you're part of something that has always been, well, there's probably how many times have you've done this? So it's just you're here for a very serious spiritual reason to learn something. So am I arrogant enough to think that I can just ruin it for someone when this is, I mean, they're here for a spiritual reason, which is 100 trillion times the comprehension of anything we can comprehend as what could possibly be important in this body or avatar. So I can just tell my friend, let me come here, let me explain how the guy in the cave did not coordinate the box cutters, and that did more in one day than the entire Soviet Union did in 50 years of Cold War and $200 billion spent a year, or whatever they spent. You just can't, it's the rules of the game. You can't be told by someone from the outside presenting a common sense argument. They need to do the work themselves. Talked about the metaphor or the analogy of slugging through the bog, I always think of the, whenever I present that analogy, yeah, it's not a metaphor, analogy. Um, is there a movie with like three guys like chained up? They escaped out of prison and they're like going through the bogs of. I always think of the bogs of the Bayou or Louisiana. Or there was a show about people that just live in the bush and live on their own with no running water and no electricity. One guy, he built a tree house or something in the bogs of the Bayou, and it actually set on fire. I forget the name of that show. But every time I say that, I always think of going through the bog. You have to be able to. You have to do it yourself. It's very similar to the truth drop in the Matrix. You can't be told this is probably what this truth drop is in the Matrix. You can't be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. And although it's just the rules of the game, That's why the rules of the spiritual journey here. Why I can't go to my friend Ken and just tell him what is. Every time I try to tell him on email or anything like that, you get some. And if he's watching, I'm not mean anything personal, Ken. You get some nonsensical response back. It doesn't really even address what I even mentioned, or it changes gears. Or see, one of the things that's going on here is we are not who we think we are. The thinking part of the brain, it's already dumbed down. It already has the governor chastity belt slapped on it. Can I say that? It already has the governor chastity belt slapped. Might as well go the whole way. Chastity belt slapped on it. Oh boy, but I'm gonna take that out. I'm gonna just. I don't know. Can I say that? I don't know. Um, I think I could say that. We're already severely limited and dumbed down here, just in the avatar, and our ability to comprehend certain things is very very limited. But there's aspects, the aspect that we think we are, we're not. We have this spellcraft called English, so we only can think inside this little tiny box the way they want us to think and the way they want us to manifest using the spellcraft of English. And you can only think inside English, which is an incredible confining little box. And what is it? The Eskimos have 400 million words for snow or something, where we just have one. And we think we're this person. I think I'm Matt, and we just are aware of our conscious minds and the frontal lobes and the ego. But that's likely that that's probably not even 10% of us. It's the part that is best to navigate this place, and it's the part where this place puts all its emphasis on that part. So this part is nurtured and it grows. But there's probably 90% of the heavy lifting is other aspects of us we're not aware of. I don't, I just sense this, and you know things even beyond subconscious or unconscious mind. So when somebody comes around the corner like Matt, who who already can present a skilled argument, who spent 10 years studying 7-Eleven was a part-time job, who believes if things were normal here or common sense applied, that I could sit down with anybody if they were to give me even 2 hours, and I could convince them that the official story of this, that, and the other thing are complete nonsense. And why it never works, although my argument has been honed and it's been perfected over 10 years, and it doesn't matter, because the 90% of that person is working against them and won't allow the 10%, the part of the ego mind, the frontal lobes, the part that they think that's all there is to them, won't allow them to comprehend it. So I would say that person, it could even be spiritual aspects of that person that aren't allowed to comprehend it. That's why they'll never get it. They just go, they'll never get it, because they don't even realize there's 90% of them that's thousands of times more powerful, thousands of times more brilliant, that it just won't let the ego mind get it. And the reason, again, is just the simple, probably, rules of this game. They're not ready. They're not ready to understand certain things about themselves, like an old soul would, if that's correct. We talk about old souls, or people that are ready to graduate into different aspects of reality. Someone that's not an old soul, the parts of them, or even the spiritual part, says we're not, in the background, without the person even being aware of it mentally in the frontal lobes, they're going, we're not ready for this information. And they react in all sorts of weird ways from our perspective. They turn and they'll run out of the room, basically. I've had people just turn and say, I'm not listening to this, and storm out. And you send an email to a friend about, well, how do you explain this? And the email comes back and there's not even any mention of what you even asked. Like, did you even, that's why we come up with these weird, I'm still worried about the GN chastity belt, if that's going to bite me. Guys, I might take it out. I might actually bleep it. I made a little joke about a certain governor, and that could be primate speech. Walking on eggshells here. One more problem with the parole officer, and I'm in real trouble. But so they don't. There's aspects of them that won't allow them to get it. So This is an old soul trying to talk to a new soul. This guy's got 400 million more lifetimes to do, or whatever. Maybe he's got, whether it be even in one lifetime. I don't know. I'm not some pushing recycling or Saturn Moon Matrix and all this stuff. I'm just saying it doesn't matter whether he can do it or she can do it in this lifetime, or it takes a lot more, and the constant recycling back of the Buddhism or whatever. The person's just simply not ready, whether they'll be ready in 10 minutes or 10 million years or 10 million lifetimes. So the powerful aspects of the person just say, well, we're not, the powerful aspects of the person, or certain parts of the subconscious or unconscious or connected to the spiritual side of them, might understand everything that Matt's presenting, might already know it. But then you would say, well, if they already know it, well, what are they doing here? I don't know. There's things here we just don't understand. But I always come back, it's probably the simplest. The simplest is usually correct. That doesn't mean I just jump on board with everything. That Occam's razor has been hijacked by this reality, where Occam's razor in this reality basically says the simplest presentation as it's presented in the news is what's right, or as it's presented through how society works is right. And that, or as science says about the Big Bang or whatever, that I have Occam's razor at its root level is probably accurate, but still worried about the chastity belt. But it's been hijacked, and it could be as simple as, well, no, we've all have these experiences now, tens of thousands of collective experiences where people just will not listen to us about anything. They're just not ready. It's just not. There's no cheat. There's no cheat code here for this type of experience. There is no, what is it? Go right to a certain monopoly. You got to go through the whole monopoly board. You can't just go right to a certain spot unless you go to jail. Then you can just jump anywhere and go into jail. But you can't just go right to Pass Go or whatever. You have to do Baltic Avenue and Marvin Gardens and all the perversions that brings, and all the crap that has to do with Baltic or whatever. You have to do that crap. The Monopoly board is a monstrous truth drop. Monstrous truth drop. Whether the person that created it knew anything or not, it was channeled through them. If they didn't know it and it wasn't created by whoever, then it was channeled. It is a gigantic truth drop. But they're just not ready. So if we can accept that, this is one of the basic rules of this game. I mean, we've all come to the point where we're saying, well, I'm not going to try to wake anybody up anymore. How many times have we all said that? But then we do it. Or I've done it many times. I'm not going to do it anymore. Then I do it. But if we truly understand, it's just a basic rule of this game where it doesn't matter what you present to them. There's huge, powerful aspects of them that will never let their little idiot thinking part of the brain get it. They're hypnotism on themselves without even the ego mind even being aware of it. Sure. So it could be that simple. It probably is. So with that being said, it all leads back to the same place. Everything we're doing here, we're doing for ourselves, not to help out my brother over here and my sister over here and my family over here, to bring all the Hillary Clintons to justice and to go fix this stuff over here. Was it Dale who just sent me this incredible podcast? I think it was his first podcast on an alternative platform. I'm in correspondence with him now. Basically saying, very, very astute, because I think it's his first video, basically saying this society out here and these politicians and all this horrible nonsense, it's just a reflection of us. It will always, you can't go fix it. You got to fix this. You got to fix this. This is all, the screen is a reflection of us. And, we've sensed that, of course, but he put it brilliantly, and I asked him to make sure he sends me his next podcast, and I'll be in touch with him, because if he makes another one like that, we'll have to basically, I don't know, we'll have to introduce him as soon as possible. He's more of the line of thinking which I've alluded to before, and I don't know how to talk about this. I don't know enough about it. But the highest level of truth really is that we are all one. the young man, Mitch Mitch Wasson, who's a channel that I have to introduce soon. He's alluded to the fact that we're all one, and people struggling saying Hillary Clinton is the same. Well, not necessarily. Potentially a different type of incarnation, but ultimately, if you follow the tributaries of the stream back, it's all coming from the same source. And these idiots here, these a-holes, are actually serving we don't I don't like what's happening out my window. Of course I don't. But it's horrible. But it is serving a purpose to move us forward very, very aggressively and very positively from a spiritual level up perspective. What's happening now and all the dark we've studied. These idiots, these minions, these a-holes are absolutely playing a role we need in our spiritual fulfillment. Thanks for listening, guys. And guys, nohobocode.com is fixed. There was an issue if you didn't type in the www. It should be all fixed, but if not, just make sure you type in the www, nohobocode dot, the most common extension. And I almost made a little bit of a mistake in this video that could have gotten me in trouble. And I have to collect as many email addresses as I can while this channel still remains, just in case. Nohobocode.com. Thanks, guys.